it's Ashley Dvorkin for Fox 411 here with Hilary and Haylie Duff, actresses, musicians, chefs, and moms. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks.
And we're talking about motherhood. And now your son Luca is 3.5 now?
Yes.
Okay. And you're a new mom?
Yes. My daughter Ryan is 4 months.
How helpful was that? To have Hilary here? I mean, was it lots of phone calls?
You know what? It was just amazing to get to watch her become a mom first. And she did it really at a time when not a lot of our friends were having kids yet. So she really was figuring it out for herself and kind of doing it on her own for a little bit. And I think she just set such an amazing example for me that as I became a mom, I had somebody to really go to with questions and, you know, advice.
She set a good example for me my whole life. You know, always a good big sister to look up to.
The Duff sisters are paid spokespeople for Similac, and now part of its Sisterhood of Motherhood campaign.
The Sisterhood of Motherhood, and let's talk about that because it's sort of this judgment, the mom judgment. So is that something that you have felt? Did you feel it? I mean, you're in the public eye, so maybe it's even at a different level?
It's definitely amplified, you know, because we are in the public eye, and you know, it's hard to do anything without everyone talking about it and the whole world knowing about it. So it's tough, you know, and the judgment starts from the second you get pregnant to like what your birth plan's going to be and how much weight you gain and how quickly you lose the weight and what you name your baby and if you have an epidural and like it just goes on and on and on, and you're like, my head's going to explode because I just grew a baby and like, who am I? Like everything is so different and changing, and you know, is scary too. Also wonderful, and it's like I think that creating this community. I mean, Haylie and I got inspired by Similac that they're creating this community where women can go and share their stories about how they have felt judged and what they're going to do to end it. And I'm guilty of judgment, and Haylie's guilty of judgment, and so we're really trying to check ourselves and make everyone else aware of that.
You listed a few examples, and you've heard that, and people do talk about that with each other. That for you, you know, maybe took personally, or you, in the sense of you felt you needed to kind of respond to.
There was a time when Luca was younger where he had like 3 ear infections back to back, and I finally put him on antibiotics, and then someone was like, you really should have tried like oils first. You should, you know, you're like, okay, well, you have a child, so raise your child, and I'm going to raise mine. You know, it's just not one thing works for every child and every family and every mom. And so I'm trying to think what else. I mean, even when I stopped breastfeeding and I started to introduce formula at 7 months, you hear people like, oh, you didn't make it to a year? Or whatever it may be, you know, there's many different reasons involved. And it can be a really lonely place because you do want to be the best at being a mom. And you think as a woman, all of that stuff should be instinctual and you should be perfect right away. And that's really not the case.
I'm the mother of 2, so this was personal for me.
Well, that's one thing that's interesting too about these videos that they're making. They have a movie coming out in October, documentary, all about mom judgment and ending the mommy wars.
And as moms now in show business, does it give you a different perspective on it? I mean, is it something, would you be okay if your kids wanted to follow in your footsteps, or would you already know some advice that you would give them if they did?
This is a tough one.
Yeah.
I get this one a lot, and I don't know. You know, Haylie and I knew we wanted to be actresses from a really young age, and my mom was supportive of us and, you know, made sure that we were in it for the right reasons, that we didn't just want to be famous, you know. But we loved auditioning. We worked really hard at, you know, going to acting classes and stuff like that.
We looked at it sort of the way kids look at going to soccer practice or ballet class, you know.
But I think I would try to deter him a little bit just because it can be it's such a different upbringing. And I would hope that it would be more when he was an adult and could make that decision on his own.
Sure. And now let's talk about the projects that you have going on, each of you. So I'll just go with each of you. So TV show, so we have Younger coming back.
Yes.
What do you think it is about this show that people are relating to?
For me, the show it's about friendship, it's about love, but really it's about reinventing yourself at any age, and that's super inspiring to me.
And then the music too, and what's coming up next with that?
I'm not really sure right now. I think that, you know, being a mom, it is tough to juggle everything with going back to work on the show, not really knowing what my schedule's like for that. So I'm trying not to put too much on my plate at the same time, but you know, it's a part of my life, and definitely after the first of the year, I'll be deciding like what exactly I want to do.
And then I know in one of your music videos you featured the Tinder date and whatever.
Yeah.
What you took away from that whole experience and sort of being that open?
I loved doing that. I mean, it was just something that was unexpected and fun, and I really just want to have fun. You know, the whole point of me working again is doing something I love, but like enjoying the process, which I think when I was younger, I was moving so fast and doing so much. I was like, it's all a blur to me. I don't remember a ton of it. So something like Tinder was like unexpected, and obviously I can date now, and I think just trying to do something that's really relatable that the rest of the world
does all the time.
The time was kind of fun to, I wouldn't say play a joke, but just do something kind of tongue-in-cheek and have a normal experience.
Let's talk food.
Yes.
Let's talk cooking coming up. So first of all, the challenges of doing a cooking show.
It doesn't feel like we're filming a show, which is so funny. It really does feel the way when Hilary comes over and we make dinner, that's kind of the feel of the show. So I feel really lucky that I'm getting to have my daughter upstairs and shoot the show downstairs, and I think that's going to work out well. We haven't gotten there yet, but we're starting season 3, and I love it. I'm really happy.
What is your signature dish that your whole family wants you to make? Like, what does Hilary always want you to make?
It's funny because you asked me earlier about signature dish. I feel like you should answer what my signature dish is.
Probably like piccata. I like your piccata.
You do?
Yeah. And then she also makes this buffalo chicken dip that I literally dream of.
Like the one you were going to say.
Dream about it. And when she makes it, she knows she has to make 2 because one's going to be gone by everyone else, and I want my own like private stash.